Wow. Let's start from this, eh? I know. If you could just go ahead and I kind of want to start with this. It's such a legendary motorcycle. If you're okay with it, RX 100 ko story ki ho? Just a gist, whatever you want to share. What's the story behind RX 100?
RX 100 is, according to people, still remember all over the world. Let me tell you, not only in Nepal and India, is still one of the most legendary motorcycle from Yamaha, and the kind of power it had, the kind of maneuverability it had, it struck immediately with the young population. And
This is the one. This is the one.
yeah, this is the one.
We used to
And
have.
most of my riding career has been on this particular motorcycle, same color.
Oh, this color.
Yeah, I used to like this color, and I must have driven it for more than 12 years, in fact.
ए हजुरको थियो
Yeah.
एक्स हो पनि त्यही फेरि एकचोटि गरेर त यो मोटरसाइकल आई हेभ सो मेनी स्टोरिज इन दिस मोटरसाइकल सो मेनी आई एम श्योर यु हेभ सो मेनी स्टोरिज इन द
Yeah,
मोटरसाइकल
matlab, it really a kind of one thing. I also was taking a lot of interest in advertising. With this motorcycle, I first started the advertising of motorcycle in newspaper back in 1993-94.
When did we start importing this?
This was started in Nepal. It was started in 1987-88. I was not there at that time. But it was being imported in the name of Rajdoot.
Rajdoot.
Rajdoot was the parent company, Escorts, which had a tie-up, technical tie-up with Yamaha of Japan.
At that time.
And later on, Rajdoot was completely taken over by Yamaha Motor Company. But this is something, first it was sold as Rajdoot, then it was sold as Escorts, then it was sold as Yamaha. So that kind of evolution has happened. But motorcycle was same, and the whole, without any kind of technical changes in this motorcycle.
It's the same.
It is the same.
98 cc, 98.3 or something like that cc.
I don't remember the exact cc. It would be 99 point something.
99. So is this your first motorcycle too?
My first motorcycle.
My first motorcycle too. And मलाई अहिलेसम्म याद छ कि फेरि हामी यति खराब बच्चाहरू होइन त्यो मोटरसाइकलको त्यो साइलेन्सरभित्र यस्तो पाइप हुन्थ्यो त्यो निकालिदिन्थ्यो हामी ठुलो आवाज आउँथ्यो होइन अनि चलाउने त्यसपछि
This is legendary motorcycle. Yeah.
टु स्ट्रोक हो क्या अरे हो
It is two-stroke. Yeah.
Oh my God. We had to put the oil and of course we had to put the petrol and we had to put some kind of oil. I don't even know what it's called.
This was little bit advanced technology. So the oil used to be in a separate tank and petrol used to be in separate tank. And it used to get mixed when it went to carburetor. But earlier, in rest of the two-stroke motorcycle, you had to mix certain percentage of petrol and certain percentage of lubricant together.
Within the, I still remember one box was battery box in this side, and the other box was the
exactly lubricant box.
Lubricant. Oh my God, it's all coming back. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of friends in my age as well. I'm 36 now. Have stories of RX 100 being their first motorcycle. RX 100, some maybe the Honda XL and one of the Honda CGs or something like that. Back in that day, like that was the trend.
Yes. But more during my age, I would like to say, there would be, all the people would be knowing either of these two motorcycle, Honda or Yamaha, especially RX 100 motorcycle.
How much did it cost? Do you remember?
First motorcycle that I had sold was at 28,000 rupees Nepalese currency.
28,000 rupiयाँ
28,000 में बेचेको
मोटरसाइकल आउँथ्यो 28,000 रुपियाँमा.
The first motorcycle I sold with the मतलब कि in the showroom, after discussing it with the customer, it was at 28,000 rupees.
And the motorcycle was
RX 100.
RX 100. 28,000 रुपियाँमा त्यतिखेर जग्गा पनि आउँथ्यो होला 28,000 रुपियाँ. I wish we could. My dad had RX 100, right? And that's how I know how to ride a motorcycle. I wish I could find that motorcycle and I could buy it right now. होइन तर अब त्यो छैन अब त्यो कहाँ होला होइन. Do you still own a RX 100?
We have got I'm say 2-3 RX 100 in my office.
अहिलेसम्म छ?
Yeah.
राखिरहनु भएको छ? Oh wow! That is a legendary motorcycle. Wow, it's so fun to start a conversation like this. How did you start your journey in? Let me put it this way: your entry to business was through two-wheelers itself, or did you start with something else?
I started with two-wheelers, Yamaha. It was not called Yamaha at that time. It was called Escorts or Rajdoot.
So that was your jump into.
Yeah, business. In fact, I had completed my class 12 from Pilani, Rajasthan.
Yeah.
And at that time, uh, I had got admission in good colleges because my marks were good at that time. But there was one vacuum in our business in Kathmandu. And my father said that you have to stay in Kathmandu and you have to do business also and study also. So somewhere around in 1991, I came to Kathmandu and I joined the college and I started studies also.
So parda you got into business too.
Matlab after some time, I was completely full-time in business. By the time of 1993-94, I was fully in business.
And at that time, what was like the main trade for Nepal? Like, what was the main trade? Like, these are the things that are being traded, and what were the main things that you were focused on back in 1992, 1993 when you jumped into business?
So I was basically, we were doing motorcycles, we were doing accessories, spare parts, workshop. I was trying to understand the business. And being myself, I do not focus on too many things. I try to focus on whatever I am doing. So it was something like that only. So although a lot of trading was happening during that time in bearings also, motorcycle, automobile bearings, and a lot of industries were being set up. And a lot of progress and a lot of energy was there.
In the early 90s?
There was a lot of energy because democracy had just come. And Nepal was opening up at that time. Privatizations were happening. But I was completely focused on our main automobile motorcycle business.
Things were flourishing, things were opening up, things were flourishing. Multi-party democracy came in 1990, if I'm not mistaken. The English state, things were brighter than now back then.
No, it was very lot of energy was there, lot of optimism was there, lot of things were happening. Things have happened after that also, but there was some kind of. But I could feel the energy at that time, maybe because of my age also. I don't know.
No. Now when you look back in these 30, 35 years, we were talking about this off air as well, just the gist of it. आजको दिनमा हेर्नु पर्दाखेरि त्यो एनर्जी र त्यो ऊर्जालाई फर्काएर ल्याउनलाई हजुरको मात्र भने होइन है मैले बुझाएको छु होइन त्यो एनर्जी र त्यो ऊर्जालाई फर्काएर ल्याउनलाई टु ब्रिङ द्याट ब्याक द सेम एनर्जी ब्याक the youth rather than the youths when they turn 16, 18, majority of my youth are listening to this somewhere in some parts of the world. Nepali youths listening to this, some parts of the world. To energy to urdala yahi bachaer raख्नलाई के गर्ने sir? What do you suggest that we bring that energy back and we save that energy and we utilize it here? Like you were saying, employment dinu parcha भनेर.
See, what I feel that we should let the business flourish. What I have seen, whenever any kind of business is doing well, then there is a certain, how do we control that particular business? The controlling aspects comes in. So in order to flourish that business, we should see how we are able to make the resources available for flourishing of business. Instead of just each and everything would be having two aspects. If there are certain problems, then there would be a positive solution to the problem, there would be a negative solution to the problem. Now, if your business is not doing well, there would be putting more effort in order to sell more, or there can be one particular aspect can be, okay, let us control the cost. Our approach has always been controlling the cost. Why not look at the other side? How can we improve the business? How we can expand the business? How can we increase the sales? So, matlab, that mentality goes in everything. So we should look at how we can flourish the business, how we can make the people create more opportunities for the people, and how we can support from the back end those kind of businesses. So this is what we need to do. The biggest challenge is to change this particular mentality. See, this half glass, half empty, half full thing I have heard for so many years. But the thing is that I understood this thing after a period of 20 years. पहिले मैले सोच्थेँ कि यार के फरक पर्छ कसैले हाफ खाली भन्छ या फुल भन्छ के फरक पर्छ बट आई अन्डरस्टुड मेबी आई एम से भेरी लेट इन माई बिजनेस क्यारियर द्याट दिस मेक्स द होल डिफरेन्स के So this goes with the flourishing thing also. If how we are able to expand the business, how we are able to support the business, how we grow the business instead of just controlling the business, making it smaller and smaller, reducing our risk. Matlab, it can be sometimes counterproductive. This mentality needs to be changed.
You talked about something so interesting. Elaborate गरिदिनु त यसलाई होइन in the past 30 years, coming to a point now in 2023. Let's start with my favorite word. This is my favorite word in the whole wide world, risk. You just said this word. When do you think we should... Okay, let me rephrase this. Are we taking risks today as a country? Are we really taking risks and putting everything to दाउमा लगाइदिएर हुन्छ नि होइन कि होइन हामी बनाउँछौँ जेसुकै होस् जसले जेसुकै बनोस् छिमेकीले जसैसुकै हामीलाई लियोस् वी आर हियर टु डेभलप आवर कन्ट्री एन्ड आवर पिपल फर्स्ट हामी त्यो पोजिसनमा छौँ जस्तो लाग्छ हजुरलाई
वी आर सर्टेनली इन द्याट पर्टिकुलर पोजिसन बट वी आर मतलब वी हेभ टु अगेन आई वुड लाइक टु से चेन्ज इन मेन्टालिटी हेज टु बी देयर के एन्ड वी आर नट टेकिङ रिस्क वी आर ट्राइङ टु सी वी ह्याड ए ह्युज प्रब्लम रिलेटिङ टु फरेन एक्सचेन्ज होइन फरेन एक्सचेन्ज जुन बेलामा लास्ट इयर समवेयर अराउन्ड मङ्सिर पौषमा गएर श्रावणदेखि आश्विनसम्म देयर वाज लट अफ ड्रेन अफ फरेन करेन्सी बिकज अफ ह्युज इम्पोर्ट्स रिडक्सन इन रेमिटेन्स इन्कम नाउ वी ह्याड टु मतलब द्याट वाज आई युज टु एट द्याट टाइम से द्याट लेट अस टेक दिस एज एन अपर्च्युनिटी वी most of the thing that we did was that we were trying to save our foreign currency. We did not want that foreign currency foreign currency going outside. We were trying to control most of the time. Okay, that needs to be done. But the thing is that we lost that particular opportunity where we could look at avenues to get the foreign currency in Nepal. What are those opportunities where foreign currency can come in and how do we exploit those opportunities? How do we go ahead with them? That is something which we could have done and that was an opportunity also because the situation was tough, but we lost this opportunity.
COVID time?
No, after COVID.
After COVID.
I'm talking about last year, last financial year, in between Shravan to Posh.
हामी यो सिचुएसनमा कसरी आइपुग्यौँ just to straight up ask you, how did we get into this situation where today's date, the economy is so slow that while we were talking earlier, होइन लगभग 30 वर्ष, if I can say this, in the past 30 years, this is the slowest period that you've seen.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
30 वर्षमा
30 वर्षमा.
In your career doing business here, in 30 years, this is the slowest time.
We have not encountered this kind of situation any time in my life before. Any time in my life. It is surprising, but it is like this. Yeah, kya karne?
Vishnu sir, what's really happening?
I will tell you. I'm also the president of Confederation of Nepalese Industries. We keep on doing some kind of research. We have got a very capable research cell over there. We keep on doing various kind of surveys among our industrialists and even I would say all over this is all over Nepal. What we found, well, I'm giving you the official version. Okay, what is official version is that whatever came out of survey. Otherwise, we keep on getting complaints from so many people from so many quarters and so many all over Nepal again. The official version is that all the businesses, barring 2-3 businesses, number one is tourism, number two is IT, and to some extent FMCG also, but they are also suffering, to tell you very frankly. Most of the businesses are 60%, 70%, 80% down. It starts from 40% and it goes up to 80% down. If the revenues are so low, just imagine how a person can run a business. If suppose I am a businessman, I have to pay my employees, I have to take care of administrative expenses, then there would be some loan also, I have to take care of interest, then I have to pay the installment also. But if my business is 50% down, how it is possible that I would be having enough cash flow in order to pay all these take care of, I don't have that kind of margin. I cannot even look at the cash flow in order to sustain all these kind of things. That is what is happening in the business now. Now, because of this particular problem, the another problem which has come up is the cash cycle. Earlier, if suppose they were able to maintain it 2 months, 3 months, now it is 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. There is no limit to that particular thing. So most of the people are suffering from this issue. And the reasons for these issues are, number one, interest rates are very high. Interest rates are high. The sentiments of people are very, very low. In our same survey, we also came to know that in private sector, about 80% of the people shelved their plan to do any kind of investment or postponed it. And I'm sure that was about 3 months back. Remaining 20% also must be rethinking about that thing, investments. So there are no investments coming, no new investments coming from private sectors. And similarly, government spending is also very low. They have not been able to. And because of this, the whole demand situation has also gone into a difficult situation. And so much of demand I have never seen, dropping before. So overall economy has got stuck somewhere and it is standstill. Now, if you see the impact to the government, they are about maybe 22% down in terms of revenue.
22%.
22%. They would be down in terms of revenue vis-a-vis their targets, or you can say last year also we are very, very much down. So revenue is not picking up. Then if you see the NPAs of the bank, non-performing assets, because the people are not able to pay, so somehow they are facing their... overall, one more figure I would like to throw about blacklisting people. In last so many years, they have been able to do 20. They had about 24,000 people blacklisted. In this year itself, it would be more than 24,000 people who would be blacklisted. Let me tell you. So you can understand the problems people are facing. Similarly, we have never been so high in non-performing assets of the banks. We are as high as earlier it was. We started the year with 1.13%, and now it is somewhere around 2.75%, and we might go above 4 to 5%. So all these kind of things are, all these kind of problems are the reflection of common people facing the problem, small and medium scale people facing the problem. So this is the situation that we are in at present. I don't know whether it made sense.
No, it did. It's very dire. I wanted to show you something. Remember last night I sent you something. I was looking at something from the Planning Commission. Planning Commission, I was reading up on the opening statements of what the Planning Commission has. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. What I read, I was... we're sitting down this morning, and I was just going through a lot of things. I was going through a lot of notes as well, the old notes that I had written down, and I was reading, and I found this, and I was just, open this out. मैले त्यो link पठाएको थिएँ हिजो, होइन? त्यो सबैजनालाई देखाऊ है. when I read this, Vishnu, to tell you the truth, I didn't see any. You know, whenever we read a story, it starts with once upon a time when we were young, and then it ends with everything was good. You know, things were great. You know, when I was reading this, or whenever I read a lot of things now, it starts with things are bad, and then it'll go down to things are going to be worse. I'll get taller down. Taller down. Go down. Mazal taller down.
Introduction ma ho.
Introduction नै पढे होइन यो त होइन डोन्ट गो द्याट लो बाबु ओके प्रिफेस ओके होइन अझ तल जाऊ है इकोनोमीको कुरा आएछ कि होइन अझ तल ल है लेट मी जस्ट एक्ज्याक्टली फाइन्ड इट है यो अझ तल भयो अझ तल जाऊ अनि त्यसपछि बल्ल तिमीले भेट्छौ ब्याकग्राउन्डमा हो क्या अरे है गो लिल बिट डाउन होइन अनि अझ तल यो बडो लामो छ यो है मैले तिमीलाई त्यो स्क्रिनसटै पठाइदिनु पर्ने रहेछ मैले चाहिँ पढेको थिएँ ओके या देयर यु गो होइन या सो अफकोर्स इट गिभ्स अ लिटल बिट अफ ब्याकग्राउन्ड अफ वेयर वी स्ट्यान्ड ठ्याक्क एक्ज्याक्टली यहाँ बडो इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कुरा चाहिँ के थियो भन्दाखेरि होइन नेपाली गुड्स युज टु बी एक्सपोर्टेड नेपाली करेन्सी वाज रेकग्नाइज एन्ड वाज इन सर्कुलेसन इन तिब्बत एज वेल भनेर भनेको छ कि सर होइन The excellence attained by Nepali arts and engineering during the Malla period hints that the education system of that time was practical and focused on skilled manpower. होइन यो अलि अगाडिकै कुरा छ कि यो होइन अलिकति तल जाँदा भयो Of course, अब 1986 पछि the country fell behind in economic and social development due to political instability that followed the Court massacre in 1846 होइन Of course, we talked about the Rana regime and a lot of things. 1951 पछि चाहिँ things got, the structure was changed, things got better भनेर आएको छ होइन just stop 1 second है In almost 3 decades long, party-less panchayat system भन्ने पनि conversation भएको छ यहाँ होइन अलिकति तल आउँदा भयो Now, this is the part that I was reading, Vishnu sir. The political environment and economic reform measures in the post-1990s had led to expansion of economic activities. The development, however, was not as expected due to the decade-long conflict. त्यो पनि ठिक छ 2006 मा People's Movement भयो, which we all know. The Constitution of Nepal, of course, the agendas, good governance को कुरा अलिकति तल जाऊ त यो almost conclusion मा छौँ हामी यसको है अलि तल जाऊ त अलि तल सो यहाँ गएर पनि कतै न कतैबाट त्यो स्टेबिलिटीको कन्भर्सेसन हामीले जहिले पनि गर्छौँ सर होइन बट this whole thing in the past 30-40 years, when I look back on the first paragraph, we were considered as tiger economy, if I'm not mistaken, back in the day.
At that time, we were good.
At that time, our currencies of Ioni, we used to, our currency had so much value. And on today's date, where do we stand? When I was reading this, I don't know, what do you think? What really happened in 40-50 years that we got pushed back? When back in the day, we were like
Simple. I'm saying we were not able to keep pace with the world, let me tell you. The way everybody was growing, the way our neighbors were growing, instead of taking advantage of those things, somehow we got left behind. We could not envisage the opportunities. We could not harness them. We actually got little bit sidelined or something like that. Otherwise, we were really a happening economy. When I was studying in schools, that was school, let's say, everybody wanted to come to Nepal. It was such an exotic destination for them. And it was a matter of, it still is, but at that time, everybody used to say he's from Nepal. That kind of special focus I was having at that time. But somehow, over a period of time, we lost that maybe the economic agenda. We were not able to capitalize on the our past or whatever best that we were having. Although our per capita income has increased, but somehow, opportunity we have not been able to harness. Or the crux of the matter is that the way the other countries have been able to develop themselves over especially our neighbors, we were not able to keep pace with them.
I was reading up on the per capita income too, and we were somewhere along 1200, if I'm not mistaken. अनि मैले हेरेँ कि सर होइन हामी कुन कुन देशसँग चाहिँ पर्दो रहेछ भनेर म यसो हेर्दै थिएँ कि अनि I was just like, okay, यहाँ रहेछौँ हामी भनेर. But back in the day, we were like
Quite ahead.
so ahead, and the fallback kept on happening, and now today when I hear that when you say, sir, that it's so slow that I've never seen in my life, I think bottom pugisakyo हामी कि bottom पुग्न अझ बाँकी छ त?
Don't tell there is still bottom from here. Yeah.
There's nothing to do except laugh about it. So this is the bottom. This is.
I think we have to now go ahead only. There would be positiveness only, and I'm great advocate of I'm optimism, and I'm optimistic that things are going to improve in future.
So उच्च ब्याज दर भनेको यही नै हो हैन, यहाँ यतिसम्मै लिमिट होला
I
एक
feel
हिसाबले.
that in next 3-4 months the interest should come down. Interest should come down. Availability of finance is now much better than what it was before. Sentiments should improve, but steps needs to be taken.
What, of course, you're in touch with everybody in the ministry. Well, I'm sure there's not a single person that you haven't met. So what is the thought process of, okay, of course, I can talk about all the sides of the ministry itself. I can go towards the Rashtra Bank, I can head on towards the ministry itself, finance ministry itself. What's the thought process of the ministries at the moment? Let's start with the finance ministry. What's their thought process now? We have a new minister who's recently come in, so what's the thought process?
It would be very difficult to tell exact thought process, what they are looking at, how they are looking at, because it has only been 3-4 days. But one thing is for sure, there is a awareness about the issues which we are facing presently. I'm industrialists and business people are facing. That awareness is there, and there is a thought process that something has to be done. You must have seen even our Honorable Prime Minister making those kind of statements that we need to do something in the economy. So that kind of things are there. And from CNI also we are doing a lot of things in order to, we are giving from our side suggestions along with data and everything. And what needs to be done, we have been telling them on continuous basis. I think we should improve. There is no doubt to this thing.
Roadmap or a blueprint or a plan?
We have come out with one study that from CNI, Confederation of Nepalese Industries, that is about rebooting Nepalese economy. What needs to be done? What are the potentials in Nepal? And what needs to be done in order to reboot Nepalese economy? And we have identified 6 sectors where if something is being done, things are going to really within next 3 to 5 years, things are really going to make a lot of difference. And things are really, because Nepal is a small country, it has got huge potential. We just need to harness it. Just like I will give you the sectors also.
Sure.
One sector would be energy sector. We have got so much huge potential. So many people want to develop the energy, and we also have got the potential of exporting that energy. So one is that particular field. Second is IT. You would be so surprised to know IT has got a huge potential in Nepal. We have got all the advantages that you can think of. Our electricity is cheaper in compared to our neighboring countries. Our manpower is much more reasonable. They are competent, let me tell you. Generally people think that that kind of thing is not there, but we are very competent as far. We have got good English speaking skills. Our space is cheaper. Our environment is good. So IT has got huge potential. I would give you an example. You would be so surprised that Philippines as a country earns $27 billion just through IT.
Yeah.
Vietnam today earns more than $15 billion. This is the double the size of, I'm talking about Philippines, this is double the size of our matlab government budget, let me tell you.
Just from IT.
Just from IT. So this is the kind of potential IT has got, and we are just scratching the surface. We need to just put few things in the right manner. And believe me, I'm saying people would come from outside to, and our Nepalese people, they would like to stay in Nepal, and they would like to use their skills outside of Nepal also. Although IT is that kind of potential.
True.
Number 3, we have got, see, all the countries that you see who have done well, they have got one thing in common. They create infrastructure in time, in the budget. Somehow we have not been able to make that kind of, we have not been able to develop that kind of capabilities. And we have to ourselves only blame for it. But that particular capability can be developed. And nowadays, and those, a lot of countries have developed after some time, just like India, they were not having that kind of capability earlier. But today, they can make highways in record time. So that capability can also be developed, and it can be, Nepal can be Nepal can also do it easily. So that is the third thing. And agriculture, we import about $3 billion goods every year. We have got such a fertile land. But we need to just put 2-3 things in perspective and in line, and there would be huge potential. Nepal is one particular in medicinal goods and herbs and medicinal goods, medicinal plants. We have got huge potential. So agriculture is one particular field. Tourism, Nepal, I'm saying everybody wants to come to Nepal.
Everybody.
But there are so many constraints, especially in flights. And one thing, whenever a new minister comes, the next thing he does that he would be announcing Visit Nepal next year itself. So why not announce Visit Nepal after 5 years? And why not have a target of 5 million tourists instead of 1 million tourists or 2 million tourists? And let us work in order to create that kind of infrastructure, that kind of, so that people are able to come over here within a period of 5 years. So these are the areas. And one thing, today what I see the problem that we are facing is basically of liquidity, high interest rates. The first thing is that those problems needs to be solved. And these things also, if we are able to do simultaneously, there would never be any problem relating to foreign currency. Just like I will give you an example. You must have heard about Rudrapur, which is about 80 kilometers from Mahendranagar. And you go over there, if you have gone over there about 15-20 years back, there was not a single industry. There was no employment, no 5-star hotels, no development. It was just like a village. Now you go and see. There would be so many industries. It is full of industries. Lakhs and lakhs people are working over there. Most of the 5-star hotels are there. All the facilities are there. Good housing facilities are available over there. How it has happened? They have just, what they have done, they have announced industrial estate over there. The government announced industrial estate. They attracted and encouraged industrialists to come over there and set up industry. See, Nepalese industry also, the industries which can do value addition, they are also considered on par with Indian industries, which means anything which is set up in Nepal and which is able to do value addition, they would be able to export to India without any kind of duty, considering that industry to be on par with Indian industry. So industrial estate, if we are able to establish in Nepal, so huge.
For example, the cement.
Yeah, we have become self-sufficient. And
we are exporting too, I believe.
We are exporting now. And they have been able to, they provided some kind of incentives to cement industries. And now a whole new potential has been opened. So if we are able to set up these kind of industrial estates in Nepal, in 5-6 places, there would be huge potential.
Has CNI pinpointed a few places?
Yeah, in last budget, we had said ki you should do there are 15 industrial states announced in Nepal and 9 are only operational. So what we had requested that these 5 industrial states also you should put in operation. This came in budget also ki Narayan Ghat as well as Hitoda industrial states we call Shaktikor and Mayurdhap. They would come in operation under PPP model, but nothing has happened during this particular year.
Nothing yet.
Nothing. I'm sure 3 months are left, but I don't think so. But this is something which is doable and which can be done if suppose we don't have to put a lot of our head into it. Whatever they have done in Rudrapur, they need to put it over here. Nothing else is required to be done.
Replicate gardine.
Just replicate garidine. And see the kind of industrialization Nepal, whatever we keep on saying, whatever we are looking for, this step is going to make it happen.
I'll ask you a straight up question, Vishnu sir, if that's fine with you. Where would you put your money in? If you had to go ahead and set up, if there was a completely new industry, होइन त्यो गरिरहेको industry भए पनि आफ्नो पैसा है फेरि सर होइन where would you put your money today? कता कुन सेक्टरमा you would put your money if there's a new sector or existing sector if you had to put like
agriculture, IT, industries,
industries मा पनि specifically
agri-based industries.
That's the future.
That should be the future because that is something which we have our own.
आफ्नो छ
के हुन्छ कि मतलब आफ्नो छ भन्नाले we have got potential in terms of
fertile land.
मतलब we have got very fertile land. Then these are something. See, I'm saying one of the very good मतलब food processing when it is considered, when it is said, we have got very good success stories, just like YY. It is a huge success story. And similarly, मतलब when we are agriculture also, there is a huge potential, but it has not yet been exploited. So यस्ता खालका कुराहरू जुन exploit भएका छैन, businessmen should enter in those particular field. And we should look at कि मतलब there is a population in Nepal, there is a population in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, which is a huge population. In fact, so we should look at that particular map and we should go ahead with it. Although it is difficult to compete, but there has to be will.
आजको दिनमा भन्नुपर्दाखेरि हामीले हाम्रो बारेमा मात्र सोचेर पनि पुगेन व्यापार गर्दाखेरि यसो छिमेकीलाई पनि दिउँ कि
एकदम त्यही हिसाबले सोच्नु पर्छ कि and it is possible also.
Vishnu sir, of course, I've had this conversation back in the day, as well. Constantly have this conversation. सबै थोक त इम्पोर्ट गर्छौँ हामीले almost everything. होइन प्याज समेत अस्ति आएर एकजना साथीले भन्दै हुन्थ्यो प्याज समेत अस्ति सिएनआईको कन्फरेन्स विच आई वाज होस्टिङ त्यहाँ एकजना साथीले भन्दै हुन्थ्यो हामीले लाउने एउटा जनै समेत चाइनाबाट आउँछ रे भन्ने कुरा भइरहेको थियो होइन भनेपछि आजको दिनमा के बनाउने त भनेर पनि त त्यो आइएम स्योर अब सबैजना लागि पर्नु भएको छ होइन अब कतिजनाले त त्यो व्यापार सुरु गरेर व्यापार नचलेर छोडेर विदेश गइसक्नु भएको छ होला होइन के गर्ने त भनेर त्यो पिन पोइन्ट गर्दाखेरि लाइक यु सेड युड पुट यर मनी इन एग्रिकल्चर युड पुट यर मनी इन आइटी अर इन्डस्ट्रिज होइन अरूलाई सल्लाह सुझाव दिँदाखेरि हजुर के भन्नुहुन्छ सर
मैले यसको बारेमा जुन छ नि why मतलब Nepal has got huge potential. I've seen people are very much against import. But import लाई just discourage गरेर या import लाई जहिले पनि negative बोलेर solution आउँदैन. See, we have to understand our potential. What is our potential?
हाम्रो लिमिट पनि थाहा पाउनु पर्यो
आफ्नो लिमिट पनि थाहा पाउनु पर्यो आफ्नो पोटेन्शियल पनि थाहा पाउनु पर्यो मैले पोटेन्शियलको कुरा गरिराख्दाखेरि अब जसरी मैले आइटीको पनि कुरा गरेँ you can earn $3-4 billion from there itself if we are able to put our things straight. IT has got potential. Electricity is another area of huge potential. तर कसरी इलेक्ट्रिसिटीलाई आज मतलब let us look at from that point of view. Cement has got potential. Tourism has got potential. सबै कुराहरू अगर हामीहरूले बनाउन खोज्यो भने we will मतलब एउटा कन्ज्युमरको जुन एउटा राइटको कुरा छ नि त्यो पनि त्यो प्रोटेक्ट गर्नुपर्छ. They should be able to get the cheaper products all over. So we have to identify our potential. We have to put money in those potentials. potential area, and we should make the best out of it. And as a government, those potential areas needs to be identified, and energy as well as resources needs to be put over there. And import is not a bad thing. Although, मतलब जब मैले भनिराखेको छु, import is not a bad thing. We should try to replace the imports, but we need to understand in which areas we need to focus on. So as a CNI also, we are identifying 10 numbers of industries where there is a potential in Nepal and which can be harnessed, and where we can also become self-sufficient, and we can be capable of exporting also.
These are the specific things that we need to focus on.
And we have to be now specific. It is very important. We cannot talk general now. That is the mistake that we have been doing. We have to be specific. के चीज गर्दाखेरि के हुन सक्छ र how it can help the country, how it can help the business.
Okay, let me ask you something. Do you think one person can come in and change the whole dynamics of how the country is being run? Not just politically, हिसाबले मात्र मैले भन्दाखेरि हैन, अहिले बडो conversation केमा भइरहेछ भन्दाखेरि, if we have really smart people running the country, then it's not. I'm not trying to say that we don't have. Of course, we've got some of the most fantastic people in the ministries. Maybe we can bring in more help, more support in the parliament as well, or in the ministries as well. Do you think in the future people are looking for that kind of change?
I have always believed that change takes time, but it starts with the individual. If one person can come and he can make the team and he can bring about the change, that is how it happens. So I'm a strong believer of one person. I've seen it in other countries also.
Singapore, for example?
There are so many examples. Do we need to take names?
Of course not. यो मान्छेले त्यो कुदिरहेछ जस्तो लागिरहेछ कि कतै न कतै हैन. When I talk to especially young people, कोही न कोही आएर चाहिँ बदलिदिनु पर्यो, कोही न कोही आएर चाहिँ केही न केही एक हिसाबले चाहिँ त्यो एउटा ब्लुप्रिन्ट बनाएर हैन हामी 30 वर्षको लागि चाहिँ यही गर्छौं र यही हिसाबले चाहिँ चल्छौं हामी भन्ने हिसाबले चाहिँ कोही न कोही आइदिनु पर्यो भन्ने त्यो कन्भर्सेसन. आई डोन्ट नो व्हाई रिसेन्टली यो धेरै समय भएको छैन. रिसेन्टली इट्स बीन कम त्यो ठोकिरहेछ मेरो कानमा हैन.
Because they are seeing all around क्या हैन. I'm saying how India has progressed, how stability has come over there, how a person has made a difference. And so whatever people see all around, and they are also seeing the examples of other countries also. So it is but natural.
Asti Bhakhar, I was looking at pictures as well. There was, it lost my mind right now with the, of course, there's the Chinese, recently there was a very big event that you, CNI,
yes.
was a part of as well.
Yeah.
Let me jump into the other side, towards the dragon. What's the thought process of the Chinese at this point, just coming straight to the question itself? Investing wise, how interested do you think, and what is going to come out of our friendship with China in the coming years, in the next decade or a few decades?
We have got a partnership with CCPIT, which is one of the largest business organization in China, and we had hosted their delegation in some days back, and I found them to be very much interested in doing business. They are more business-oriented people. And they have always been, during my conversation with them, they have asked us, Ki bhai, which are the field you want the investments? You need to tell us. And we have got so many people. There would be so many people who would be willing to come to Nepal. So that was their approach. But and you tell us the opportunity and the field. So they really would like to come to Nepal. During this particular tenure, I have hosted many delegations. Most of the people are very positive about Nepal, and they are just looking for opportunities and the areas where they can make the difference, and they would like to invest. But again, maybe I'm say situation presently is little bit difficult, But I have found the people very positive and very... See, generally, if suppose somebody goes to any country, they go for 2-3 things. Number one, it is business. The most important thing is business potential. And number two is also the people and also the environment. We have got times second and third. We are already have got very good, we have got good people who are very friendly and who are very, they can do the things also. And we have got excellent environment, and that very good people who come over here, they feel good also. So now we need to create the business thing, and comparatively, relatively more people will come to Nepal.
So at one point, pinpointing the two parts, two neighbors that we have. So China is very open to going ahead and doing business with us, and keen on looking at specific industries. Yeah. So asking CNI or just pointing it out, FNCCI, like, okay, please pinpoint us, and we'll come in and we'll support.
Yeah,
it can be loan, it can be grant, it can be, we could call it so many different things. Investments, let's say. So they're very keen on that. Have we pinpointed specific sectors? And probably
we have finalized that we would be forming a business council where we'll be discussing the sectors and where we would be disseminating those information to their businessmen and our business people also. So that has been finalized, and it will not take much time when we have got this business council ready among us.
Very, very interesting. And now, especially once China has opened up, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we've just opened up Rasua as well. So I think that is going to, even when it comes to imports or exports as well, that's going to ease out in the coming few months and years, I believe.
Yes.
That is something that's definitely there. Okay, I'll move on towards the other side. With India, we've got our partnership with India for such a long time. Yes. Such a long time. How strong are we today? Vishnu sir, we're asking you very straight. And what do you think the future is going to look like when it comes to our relationship, when it comes to business and investments with India?
I think our relationship with India is one of the very strong relationships as far as bilateral relationships are concerned. And because of we feel very comfortable when we are talking to those Indian people. Our culture are same, and they are also very keen long-term friend, I should say. It does not matter on few people coming and going, few people having some kind of things, it is a long-term relationship based on very strong fundamentals. And now the way India is coming up, the way India is growing, and the forecast that we have now, they have become 5th largest economy, I believe, 4th or 5th largest economy, yeah. And they are coming up very aggressively. I think we should deepen our ties, especially in the field of business, which I am sure, especially in the field of energy, IT, and industries, where we are able to do export to their countries also and set up ancillary industries in Nepal. So these are the fields I feel has got immense potential. And in last few years, we have seen India has grown substantially in agriculture also. Agriculture in terms of cash crops, in terms of herbal medicine, medicinal plants and herbs. And they are really doing so well. They have set up labs all over India. They have set up organization which is there to promote these kind of things. So we have to take advantage of these things also from India. And there are so many things to learn also, and they are also very much interested in engagement also. We have been on regular basis talking to our counterpart in India, FICCI, and now they are also interested in doing specific projects where opportunities in Nepal, whether it is in infrastructure field, whether it is in the field of agriculture, whether it is in the field of industrial setup, they are ready to come over here and or we can go over there and they are ready to set up the program, bringing the investors. So I find a lot of energy in our southern neighbor. They are really very keen and very eager.
त्यो भन्छ नि विष्णु सर, विदेशी ऋण लिन हामी विदेशी ऋण लिने कि नलिने होइन, त्यो ऋण लिएपछि अब त्यो चुक्ता पनि गर्नु पऱ्यो फेरि होइन, कसैले त छोड्दैन विदेशी ऋण त होइन. somebody gives you money होइन, that person's always going to be expecting something off of you, no? Right? Maybe down the road it might turn into grant, but there's going to be something in return. No? Nobody hands over money just like that.
Yes.
So in today's date, should we take विदेशी ऋण लिएर आफ्नो इन्फ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनाउने? यो कन्भर्सेसन गर्दाखेरि फेरि जहिले पनि त्यहाँ कतै न कतै त्यहाँ मान्छेको कसै न कसैको चित्त बुझिरहेको हुँदैन होइन, लिने कि नलिने त?
मेरो यो भनाइ छ, it is not a matter of ऋण के. We should look at investments. I am again saying we should look at investments. We should look at a public-private partnership model. Why to take ऋण यार? मतलब I do remember when CNI had hosted first infrastructure summit back in 2014 or 15? 14, huh? And Honorable Minister Gadkari had come at that time. And in his keynote speech, he had said and at that time he was the person who had created the first expressway in India, which was in between Bombay and Pune. He said that he was able to build that expressway with a equity of 10 lakhs rupees. 10 lakhs. Now, how he was able to do? He was able to bring around public-private partnership. And today that highway is free. It is with the government. They have, I don't think so, they are taking toll tax also.
त्यो पनि छैन होला.
त्यो पनि अहिले छैन. So that is how it has been developed. You cannot, it would be huge constraint to develop all the infrastructures with the government money. We should not even look at it. We should look at how we are able to get the money from the private sector, from outside of Nepal, so that, and we are able to build our infrastructure, and we are also, after a certain time, able to own those infrastructures. So, might not be feasible at one point, immediately, but over a period of time, it will become feasible, and there has to be some kind of additional effort to be made by the government in these kind of infrastructures. So in this budget also, government had announced that they would be developing 3 roads under PPP model. But unfortunately, this also never took off.
I was going to Kurindar a couple of days ago. On my way to Kurindar, of course, as soon as you cross a section, once you start going downhill, right from Thankot, of course you see the tunnel.
Yes.
And then once we reached Kurindar, I was just talking to my brother and I was saying, कति वर्ष लाग्छ होला त यो tunnel सकाउनलाई? And just an example, that tunnel is just an example. I could talk about Melamchi right now, and we're just having conversation about Melamchi a couple of days ago that the project started such a long time ago. Finally, the water is coming. So even with the tunnel, I'm really excited to go ahead and put my motorcycle, my car, maybe walk even, to get to the tunnel and come out the other side. So that got me thinking that even when it comes to getting us out of the situation that we are at right now, the slow situation, I think are we inside the tunnel right now? Is there a light on the other side? Or are we outside the tunnel just looking at the tunnel and thinking, Aba ke garne? Where do we stand right now?
No, certainly there is a light. There is no doubt on that particular aspect. Now, the only thing is that what pace we have to go. There is certainly a light on the other side, and we are able to see it. Now, how do we accelerate the pace? Nepal is a very strong economy. It has got good foundation, and there is no doubt to this particular thing. And it is certainly going to grow, the kind of resources we have got. But what is the pace? As I said earlier, because of the pace, we got left behind. It is not that we are not progressing or we are not growing. We are growing, we are progressing. But the pace is not there. When pace is not there, other people are going to overtake us. So we have to increase that particular pace, and that is how we have to see.
What do friends at CNI across 7 provinces, what do friends say? Small businesses, especially सानो सानो व्यापारीहरूले चाहिँ के भन्नुहुन्छ सर? कस्तो कुराहरू आउँछ आजको दिनमा?
They are in a difficult position. They are in a difficult situation. They want, although the main issue is somewhat to do with the demand, but everything is coming out, and interest is one of the biggest issues which has been created. And because interest is so high, they are not able to pay the installment, they are not able to service the loans. They are trying their best, and they are, but that has come out as one of the biggest issue, interest as the biggest issue. And to some extent, it is also one of the biggest issue because it is related with so many things. Because higher interest is also one of the reason for low demand. It is also one of the reason for why the stock market is presently in
This situation.
And it is also because there is a 62% reduction in the revenue relating to land. Number of transactions have come down. So all these things, interest is one of the biggest role to play. So they are always thinking कि भाई some way if interest can be brought down, then the whole economy, their demand is going to rise. They would be able to pay the loan. So this kind of mentality they have, and they are also looking for some kind of developmental work in their own area. That is what they have really become interested in. I'm say roads are built, the access is created, and development happens in their area. And I was in Butwal some time back. One of our organization, Rupandehi Udyog Sangh, had done an exhibition over there, Swadeshi exhibition they had done. And one of the exhibition center was created in Butwal within a very short period of time, although it was not complete, but they were very excited about it. Now they said ki bhai, we would be having a similar kind of exhibition just like you all have in Kathmandu. So these kind of developments that really motivates them in their own areas also. So the focus also has to be, now we have got 3 levels of government. So one level is local level, the second is province level. So they are now getting connected and they are now pushing the agenda. They want the agenda of development to go ahead. So that is what their aspirations are nowadays.
What do the banks say, sir? Straight asking you, what do the banks say? And of course, I'm going to straight up come to Nepal Rashtra Bank.
What do the banks say?
What do the banks say? Let's start with that. And then we'll jump back. Banks, because you're friends with everybody, you're friends with majority of them.
Banks people, whenever I discuss it with them, they recognize the problem. The banker people, they recognize the problem that there is a issue which is happening in the, and they are also facing the brunt. They are little bit, they are concerned about the repayment of the loans, which is a matter of, which is slowing down, I should say. The repayments are struck up or whatsoever. So they are not able to get the money back from the lending. That is one area of concern. Another area of concern is that few people have started saying, and they have come to the road also and saying that they are not going to pay the loan. These kind of things are also happening, which according to us also is not the right thing. It is going to spoil the environment. So they are more concerned about that area also. But what I would like to request them presently is that they have to think about the present situation, which is in a difficult, all the business people and industrialists, they are in a difficult situation as of date. And the present situation is critical. So how can they help in this kind of situation? What I request them is that this particular situation should be should be understood as a abnormal situation. And they should take some steps like reduction of interest. like being sensitive towards the business people, especially SMEs, so that they are able to revive the economy, so that their NPAs do not increase, so that they are able to see, if suppose their NPAs are going to increase, their profitability is also going to go down. Their capability to invest is going to go down. So, matlab, they should ensure that interest, they might be taking some hit in profitability for a short period of time, but they are going to do good for a long period of time. Short term hit in the profitability, but long term revival of the economy. So that is what I keep on saying to our banker friends. Regarding NRB, I always tell them that they have done good with the outside, maintaining certain parameters of foreign exchange and everything. But in this particular critical situation, they should look at easing out the economy. They should see that our liquidity is enough for the business people. They should take steps in order to reduce the interest rate. They should encourage the business activity to happen. When I say business activity, I also means that share. I do not want that we have to go to the extreme where shares is very volatile. But we should let business happen in share market also, in land market also. And we should we should encourage business people investments, especially in industries. So these are the things that we keep on saying to Rashtra Bank. And Rashtra Bank people also, we understand the issues. That is what they...
त्यो तरलता अझै छ होइन सरले एउटा शब्द भन्नुभयो कि होइन there's one word that you constantly said which I was just thinking होइन आजको दिनमा when we look back at this यही कन्भर्सेसन हामीले 1-2 वर्षपछि हेऱ्यौँ भने हामी अर्कै सिचुएसनमा हुन्छ हामी यही हेरेर मुसुमुसु हाँसिरहेको हुन्छौँ होला होइन you said the word called profit मुनाफा त्यो कसैको उसमा छैन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई आजको दिनमा मुनाफा भन्ने शब्द हराइसक्यो जस्तो लागिरहेछ मलाई
एक्चुअलमा हराइसकेको छ
त्यो कसैको पनि व्यापारमा आजको दिनमा I'm just talking about today in 2023 in April right now होइन मुनाफा भन्ने शब्द छ जस्तो मलाई खासै लागेको छैन
That is one of the very, you really need to look for that thing.
कहाँ गएछ मुनाफा भनेर होइन कतिजना साथीहरूले सोचिरहनु भयो होला कि
there are so many people who hate the word munafa. So they would be having difficulty in finding that also now.
त्यो पनि कतिजना साथीहरूले सोचिरहनु भएको छ होला हाम्रो देशमा गरिब अझ गरिब हुँदैछ धनी अझ धनी हुँदैछ भनेर होइन मुनाफा भन्ने शब्द for big business houses now let me just come to that है अघि off air we were just talking about that सानो बिजनेस हाउसलाई मात्र गाह्रो भइरहेछ आजको दिनमा कि ठुलो बिजनेस हाउसलाई पनि कतै न कतैबाट इम्प्याक्ट परिरहेछ र धेरै नै गाह्रो भइरहेछ के छ सर
When economy is bad, when the demand is low, it is not small or big. Everybody is affected here. See how it works. If the demand is low, industry would be having 50% sales. Then the distributor would be having 50% sales. Then the dealers in all the different parts would be having 50% sales. And the retailer. So it is a whole chain. It is not one person. It is the whole chain which would get affected. Yeah. So it is not only SMEs. Each and everybody is getting affected now.
Big business houses who have thousands of employees on today's date. How many employees do you have, sir, among all your businesses?
It would be about 1,200.
1,200 employees.
Yeah.
On today's date. What goes in your mind when all your majority of your businesses are your munafa भन्ने शब्द कतै न कतैबाट त्यो घटिरहेको what goes in your mind when you think of your employees?
No, what thing comes in my mind is that number one, this is a temporary phase. We have to sustain during this particular phase. We have to improve our efficiencies so that we are able to, whatever is there, we are able to get best out of it. And these are the times, tough times are the times when you are able to focus on your own strengths, your own energy. So that is number two thing that we have been focusing on. Number three, whatever is available in business, just like might be a automobile sales must have come down, or I'm say construction, the sales have come down, but we have got allied things like service, spare parts. So focus on those kind of things so that we are able to grow a much stronger foundation. So these are the things which comes in my mind, and we also feel worried ki how we will be able to sustain our dealer network and confidence of customers. So
That's something that's always crossing your mind. अघि नै हजुरले भन्दा भन्दै आफ्नो विकनेसेसहरूमा चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ विकनेसेसहरूलाई इम्प्रुभ गर्दै जाने भन्ने पनि हुन्छ होला डाउन टाइममा
एकदम that is what we have to focus on.
सबैजनालाई
And we all have to be, one thing is sure, all these tough times do not last. There is always a brighter side. And we do believe in that particular thing.
Just a few more questions. I know your time is very limited. स्वदेशी भन्ने क्याम्पेन थियो मेड इन नेपाल मेक इन नेपाल भन्ने क्याम्पेन पनि छ अहिले सेनाको होइन वेयर इज द्याट गोइङ अन एन्ड
It is really, I was just reviewing this particular campaign and how, just reviewing means we had a meeting last week and a lot of positive things have happened due to Make in Nepal campaign. We actually had two objectives. One objective was that we wanted to create industrialization in Nepal. I say create industrialization, facilitate industrialization in Nepal. Number two objective was that the goods which are manufactured in Nepal, we wanted to create a kind of respect for those particular goods. Respect in terms ki bhai this is a quality goods. Number two, it is available at a fair price. And that kind of image we wanted to create. We are very happy that more than 110 good companies have associated themselves with this particular campaign over a period of 1 year, few months. And we have got now all good names attached with it today. And Swadeshi logo, which we had come out, is being used by a lot of people. And in fact, I'm saying in order to enroll the people in our campaign, we had taken the help of KPMG, which is a worldwide firm. And they had also taken initiative in Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India campaign. So they know what they are doing. So we had created a framework that only those people who are able to pass these criterias would be able to take part as can be a part of this particular campaign. So it is not easy. You have to fulfill certain criteria. But in spite of that, after so many rejections, we have been able to get 110 people. And now Swadeshi Make in Nepal campaign is being recognized by government also. It is being done in collaboration of the government. And lot of, whether it is budget bhashan, whether it is agenda of the minimum common agenda, Make in Nepal gets featured everywhere. And number two, this is about the acceptability of the product. The first part, industrialization, we had made after a lot of discussions with a lot of stakeholders, involving stakeholders also. We had come out with 34 suggestions. Very specific, very clear 34 suggestions where we say ki bhai, we would be able to make a difference in the industrialization in Nepal. And that will facilitate replacement of import also. And we had done a summit also, in fact, Make in Nepal summit, which we are going to do it again. In summit, whatever discussions that had happened, and we had come out with a very clear, specific suggestions also out of that. You would be surprised to know that more than 70 to 80% suggestions had been incorporated in the budget.
Implement गरेछ
गरेको छैन
अहिलेसम्म
incorporate भएको छ implement भएको छैन. So in order to ensure, now this is one step. Now in order to ensure that we need to implement those also, this problem we knew. So we came out with a budget watch program where we identified whatever 63 points relating to business which were announced in business in the budget. We identified those, what needs to be done, who needs to do. So every month we are coming out with a complete status report of budget watch, what has been implemented, unfortunately, it is very sad. Only 15 to 20% of the provisions have only been implemented up till now. Most of them have not even been started, and a lot of them are in work in progress. But we are putting our efforts. See, this is what CNI does. We are into advocacy of private business people. And we are also, in a way, we try to go to the government and try to give them a perspective from the private sector. And we try to push it. So that is our work. That is how we are doing it.
Just saying this, I follow your Instagram page, and of course, I've worked closely with friends at CNI as well, and FNCCI and other organizations too. Facts will never lie, right? Fact is fact. Numbers are numbers. It's never going to lie. It's right there, crystal clear. I'll come to the point. When you go to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and when you have a conversation, or when you go to honorable MPs, and when you go to the ministry and talk to the leaders, they know the facts. They know the blueprint. It's right there. What's the perspective of putting it in first gear and running it in high speed? What do you think is stopping us back? In very, very briefly, what do you think is stopping us back? Is it the vision? Or is it the lack of stability, that things might go wrong and I might lose my chair? What is it? Like, if you had to go ahead and answer this, what is stopping us at the moment? Or why is it super slow?
I think it is the priority. Now, what happens in other countries, I will give you what happens in other countries is that it is the economic agenda which comes first, and politics is surrounded around this particular thing. But in case of Nepal, unfortunately, it is politics first, and the economic agenda comes much, much later. So somehow, because of the politics, economic agenda really suffers. Because you see, for last 6 months, we are into one of the most critical phases of our existence. But because of change in government, because of elections, and because of so many other things, we have always been, economic agenda has not come to the forefront up till now. And number two, what I feel, we need to really have the will to do the things.
Atmabal nahi chahiye, shakti nahi chahiye.
Will is most important thing. There are so many difficulties. See, when we have got the whole cultural setup over here, and which we are following for a long period of time, there is a need to bring change. And that change really needs willpower and complete conviction that I have to get this thing done. So somehow, because of stability, government stability, because of many, many reasons, because of stability of bureaucracy also, again for many reasons, that kind of will and that kind of conviction doesn't come. So these two things I find one of the major reasons for we not going ahead with the pace that we want to go.
Somebody was explaining this to me, and what conclusion I came to was we need rocket boosters. I think the boosters are ready. If the boosters are ready, stand by. We just need to go T-5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and just turn all the boosters on and go on a super fast pace, which I believe we are ready. We just need to go ahead and press the button.
We don't need much to do. I've gone through a lot of things, and I don't think so. It is complete rocket science here. We have got a small economy. We need to manage it, and we need to. It is not a huge economy. It is 40 billion, 30 to 40 billion US dollars. It can be done like anything.
100 billion by when do you project we are going to get to 100 billion? Let's not get into big INGOs and NGOs and big banks. Let's not even go that route on this episode.
These things are possible. These things, whatever you are saying is nothing very strange. These things are possible. Nepal has got capability. We need these two, stability to be brought down and that kind of mentality that it has to happen.
आज $1200 छ सर हाम्रो पर क्यापिटा होइन इन्कम होइन $1200 1200 चान्चुन छ आजको दिनमा होइन $1200 somewhere along that line 2000 by when do you think okay let's a few predictions why not भविष्यवाणी गर्न रमाइलो हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ by when do you think we're going to get to 2000 if everything goes well 2030
No. The thing is that we are talking about an economy of $60 billion. From 30 to 40,
40 to
30 to 40 to 60 to 70, $80, $70-80 billion. मतलब मैले भने नि कि these are not very far-fetched kind of things. See, I'm not on a मतलब के छ कि के गर्नुपर्ने के नगर्नुपर्ने मतलब I'm not on that particular मतलब कि seat के. But I know that this is not very far.
It's
it
not
can
impossible.
be done. It is impossible को तो खैर कुरै छैन. मतलब it is not very far also and it is not very undoable also. Within a very short period of time, these things are achievable.
Okay, well, ending with this, I'm sure a lot of people don't want us to achieve those goals, no? त्यो पनि त छ नि त सर होइन without taking a lot of names, a lot of people maybe don't want us to get to $100 billion economy. बसिराख, you stay at 30-40, you stay at below 50 and be happy. उनीहरूलाई के भन्ने त?
मतलब मैले यो भन्न सक्छु कि भाइ नेपाल has got a potential. And I'm very optimistic. I'm too very bullish also, to tell you very frankly. And if we are able to put few things together, nobody can stop us to become 100 billion economy in a very short span of time. And I always say on some kind of foundation ground or something like that.
Oh, the day we reach 100 billion, so we'll cheers together. And we will.
Yes,
we definitely will.
Yes.
कपाल सेतो नहोस् त्यति मात्र हो. One of the last things, धेरैजना साथीहरूले विदेशमा बसेर हेर्नुहुन्छ होइन एफटिआईको हिसाबले हामी कहाँ छौँ र हामी अझ ब्रोडर पर्सपेक्टिभले सोच्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ हजुरलाई टु ब्रिङ इन a lot of partners, international partners who want to come in and invest in Nepal, in businesses, in industries maybe, in IT, agriculture?
We should be open to that particular thing. We should be open to growth mindset. We should identify the potentials. We should put our energy over there. We should put our resources over there.
What would you want to go ahead and say to young people who are listening right now, who might be thinking of starting a business? Downtime ma feri, अहिलेको टाइममा, आजको टाइममा हैन, things are so slow. But मलाई के लाग्छ भन्दाखेरि यस्तै टाइममा हो व्यापार सुरु गर्ने जस्तो लाग्छ जब सबसे गाह्रो टाइम हुन्छ.
So मतलब मैले पनि I fully agree with you, and we are in a difficult situation in terms of मतलब demand and all these kind of things, which we believe is a very short-term kind of thing, and there are immense potential in Nepal, and we need innovative thinking, which is going to come from the youth only, which is going to, and we have seen at so many places, they have been able to do it in a very successful manner also. Whether it, especially in the field of IT, I have seen young people doing really, really well in Nepal. I still remember WorldLink about 25 years back, it was a small organization here. And today it is such a huge organization. So, matlab, there is, and it was done by single-handedly, by 2-3 people, I'm say, coming together and making it big, not with huge capital. And there are so many similar kind of examples which you can go through in Nepal. So, matlab, and where the things have not gone up a lot, so the opportunity remains. If suppose it has saturated or the technological level is very high, then opportunities are limited. But when we have not gone that high, the opportunities becomes very huge. So I would request the young people to come back to Nepal and look at those opportunities, have an innovative mind, and trust on the future of Nepal.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Vishnu sir. Thank you so much. And I definitely have to say that I have to say your friend's name. Her name is Saloni. And right in the beginning of when we started this, your company, MAW Music, supported us from the get-go. And I definitely want to thank you for that, sir. Thank you very much for supporting us right from the beginning.
Thank you, Sanjay.
And thank you very much for your time. And you have to come back again. Right now,
Certainly.
the time
It
is...
has been a pleasure.
Right now, the time is a little bit dicey and tricky. Hopefully in a few months. Asa त्यही गरौँ sir. केही
Great.
महिनामा.
Certainly, yeah.
केही
Certainly,
महिनामा
always.
things are going to be better, and we'll talk again, sir. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you so much. Wow.
This program is brought to you by Vyas Studios.